What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about CleanSpark and Riot today. Man, I forgot to write who requested Riot, but Mr. G, I've got you for CleanSpark. I'm sorry. Whoever it was, I'd give you a shout out, but I'm not going to go through looking through my comments right now. That would take too much time. I don't have time. There are a lot of comments, man. There really are, and I forgot to write your name down. I'm so sorry. But CleanSpark and Riot, that's what we're talking about today. So without any further ado, let's get into it here. So looking at CleanSpark on a monthly basis, real quick, we're going to kind of zoom out, do a little bit of a longer term stuff, and then come back to the short term stuff. Here you are, rejected your 618. It's very likely when you reject your 618 to come back to your 382 and then go up from there. And that would put you at $5.90. I know you can't see that price really, but it's $5.90. And you can go a little bit below that, that's okay, but I would expect that you would at least hit that line before you move up higher. So regardless of what CleanSpark does in the meantime, I don't think it's done yet. And if you're just looking at the price for what it is, it would kind of make sense for it to go a little bit lower, right? You've got this kind of trajectory here, right? That's a pretty straight line. I did kind of well with that. You've got this trajectory here. You're in like a channel upwards. It wouldn't be crazy for this thing to come down and touch that line, which would take it below $5. That is absolutely possible. I don't think that's going to happen, but it is possible. You need to be prepared for that. I plan on buying CleanSpark personally whenever it is below $6. I'll probably buy it in like the upper $5 area, probably. So if it goes all the way below $5, I'll be in the red for a second, but I'm okay with that. I have that kind of risk tolerance because I know where this thing's going by the end of the cycle. If that's not you, if you want to wait, more patiently, none of this is financial advice, but you do you. Just know that I do completely personally plan on buying around here while accepting that it could go a whole dollar lower than that in the meantime before I make gains, right? So that's just how I play things. I don't try to catch the absolute bottom. I just try to catch where I think a decent price is. Going from about $13.50 all the way down to just below $6, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with buying there. So anyways, regardless of that, let's get back into the more immediate stuff. Looking at this on a weekly basis, the week is green. We have about 1 day left. Yeah, it's Thursday, so it's going to be Friday tomorrow. Looking like you want to bounce. Oh, you're not bouncing off the 50. Actually, you're below it. So if you close the week here, that would actually set you up for kind of a rejection off the 50, which wouldn't be an ideal thing at all. You've rejected the 50 here, right on it there, and that's definitely promoted some more immediate downsides. Like, let's look at this here. You saw it drop at one point that was 16% to the downside here, higher low nonetheless. Here you rejected it, again, 12% drop on a week there. Over here, you rejected it. You were in a downtrend, though, so kind of different circumstances, but you dropped 23%. If you were to drop, let's just say 12% from the current, I guess it would be wherever the week closes. Let's just assume it's here, a little bit above where the price is now. That would take you below the current low that we have, and I would expect that wouldn't be the stop of it. So, again, just more kind of conclusions being drawn to the idea that we will go below $6 inevitably. I do think CleanSpark is going to go below there. Yes, we've had a bit of some green days here. Yes, the RSI has broken back out of the oversold zone, but that's very normal, man. What we will likely see, if it continues to go up, cool, whatever. It could continue to go up. But what we will likely see, however it ends up looking, we've got this low here. We'll likely see a higher low and get some bullish divergence where the price is actually lower. You have this low here, and then you have a lower low. So you've got, and it probably doesn't go that low. I mean, maybe it does, but it probably doesn't. A lower low in the price, a higher low in the RSI, that would give us bullish divergence. That's generally how this happens, right? You get oversold, you come out of it, and then you get back into it. That's your last drive. So I think we are coming to the end of this. As far as how long does it take, I don't know. Are we ready to go back into the oversold zone now? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we have another week to the upside. Maybe we find resistance right here at about like $8, and what would that be? $8.70, 75 cents, something like that. We could find resistance right there. Let's see, relative high to low, you're finding resistance at the 236 now, but hey, 853 right there, that's at the 382, and it's very common to go a little bit past that. Not only that, but if we take that away, again, you'd be finding resistance at a previous area of support. So could we go up there? Absolutely, I think we could, and then resume to the downside. And at the rate we're going, I mean, that could be at some point in very early February that we get there, and then we reject. It could be just assuming that we move something at like this pace, it could be the middle of February, end of February before we find our low. And just because we find our low does not mean that we're going to bounce up immediately, okay? We found our low here in October 9th. That week actually is when October 2nd actually is when we found our low. We didn't really start moving up until November 20th, a whole month and a half, more than a month and a half later, right? So just because we find our low in middle February to the end of February, something like that, doesn't mean that it's time to go yet, right? That's my genuine assumption. So it could be another month that we consolidate around there. Same thing here. We found a low right here in March, 6th of March that week. We didn't really start to move up until the 10th of April. That was a whole month afterwards. So, and yes, we went up a little bit, but we didn't start to move up. We didn't break out to new highs until about a month afterwards. So, yes, we might find our low around here in this time. We might even be higher by like this time, but we're probably not going to break out until about that time there. That's my genuine opinion. As far as where is CleanSpark going to go, I don't have the low, so it's actually kind of hard. So the best thing, the easiest thing, maybe not the easiest thing to do, the best thing to do, I should say, would be taking this relative fib here, the Mac Daddy fib, high to low. You're at your 618, 382. You probably at this point, the next top that you're going to see, after finding your low, you're probably going to go up to your 786, 886 area, somewhere in here, maybe even your 786, 69 area. So anywhere from about $16 to potentially $30 is at play after we find this low. And that probably would come in the second half of this year. We'd start to make the move up before the second half. We wouldn't find our top until the second half, probably sometime in the third quarter is what I'm thinking. That's CleanSpark. Let's move on to Riot. I do think as of right now, CleanSpark has a little bit more to go up. Don't be surprised if that happens. Also, don't be surprised if it goes down. That doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. It's just, it looks bad. It looks like it wants to go down. It just might take a relief. Nothing moves in a straight line. Just like, I don't know, like you move down here, you moved up. You move down, you moved up, nothing moves in a straight line. So here we were moving in a straight line for a pretty solid bit of time. We're going to have a little relief. And this could have been the extent of it, but I kind of do expect that we'll see more personally. But that's CleanSpark. The game plan has stayed the same, guys. Just as whenever we moved up here and we started moving sideways and I was calling for prices to go to $13, I was unfazed, right? Even here when we were still moving sideways, like very slowly moving upwards, still waiting for that price. And if you were patient enough, you actually caught that right at the top there. Patience, I think, will play off because it's very, very extraordinarily uncommon. Sorry, wrong fib. To not see this 382 when you've come so close to it already, in my genuine opinion. And if we look at CleanSpark for what it is, I was about to move on, but man, whenever you found your lows at any of these points from the time that you've been like moving up, since you found your like actual bottom of the cycle, the best times to buy were below the green line, below the green line, below the green line. Here we are above it. I think we're going to get below it again. And where would that take us? Below the green line would take us below 612, probably below $6. So could we go sizably below it? Absolutely we could. Here the green line was at 474. We went down to 346. If it's at $6, could we move down to below $5? Absolutely we could. Again, be prepared for that. But I'm personally probably going to buy in that $5.50 to $6 range. That's my genuine opinion. With the full exception, even kind of an expectation that we go lower than that. But that's just my style, man. I don't try to catch the absolute bottom. Just like here, I didn't try to catch. I caught the top. I did. I caught the absolute top, man. I literally sold it at the perfect time. I sold it when it was worth 13.30, 37 actually, 13.37, and the high of it was 13.56. I sold right there. But I had the expectation, I genuinely did have the expectation that the price would move above $14, maybe even up to $16. And it didn't. And this is why I play that game where I don't try to catch the absolute top, because sometimes the place where you think is the top actually won't be the top. And so I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to preemptively buy a little bit above where I think or kind of expect it would go, if that makes any sense. So Riot, that's just my style. I'd rather get in than miss an opportunity. That's just my style. You do you. None of this is financial advice, but if your style is the same, cool. We're twins. But if not, it's okay. No need for animosity or anything like that. You do have bullish divergence on Riot right now. You're breaking out of your oversold zone. I bet that you do go a little bit higher again, as well as with CleanSpark here. Looking at Riot, you probably move up to about 1250. You're at 1063 now. I bet you move up to about 1240 to 1250, something like that. Find resistance at the screen line and then move down. Again, I don't think that you're done moving lower just yet. With Riot, this does look like an M pattern. It absolutely does. This rejection off your overbought zone is not friendly at all, in my opinion. I do think that Riot has more to go down. You probably go down at least to $7, if not potentially even down to about $5, somewhere in that area. You could find support right here. You could find support right here. You know, closing weekly high, double bounce right here off of your lows, right around your 1272 and your 1618. So anywhere from about, I would say, $5 to $7, probably just above $5, probably just below $7 is where I think Riot's going inevitably. But in the immediate term, again, you could move up to about $12 to $13, somewhere in that range. Probably right there, just below $13 is what I would think. And then inevitably move lower. Yeah. Something like that. Find a low down here. Kind of makes sense to me, man. That wasn't a properly drawn M, but I hope you can see what I'm going for. So that's Riot. I do think it finds a little bit of support here, but again, just like with CleanSpark, don't be surprised. Don't feel the FOMO, because even if it does go above $13, even if it goes all the way up to $14, that's still a lower high. You're still in this trajectory downwards, so don't get too excited. If you're playing the short-term plays and you're taking profits up here, good job. Get excited for that. But if you're trying to play the long-term game and you want to buy it for a good price for the cycle, I don't think it's here, and it's definitely not going to be higher than here. That's just my genuine opinion. So that's CleanSpark. That's Riot. If you like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content. Thank you all for coming. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.